There comes a moment when heaven starts to move on. The quiet prayers of a woman who has cried, believed, and waited. A moment when what looked like silence was actually strategy. See, when God is about to answer a woman's prayer for a husband, He doesn't start with the man. He starts with her. He refines her vision, restores her heart, and redefines her worth. Because before God sends her a husband, He wants her to know she's already whole. The waiting isn't wasted. It's the womb of what's next. Every delay is developing something she'll need in her marriage. And when that divine moment comes, the answer won't look like desperation. It'll look like destiny. The man she's been praying for won't just fit her list. He'll fit her calling. God will align their paths, not by coincidence, but by covenant. When God seems slow, He's actually strategic. What feels like a delay is often divine design. Because the truth is, God doesn't operate by our calendars, clocks, or countdowns. He operates by calling, and calling has a rhythm that can't be rushed. Every moment of waiting has meaning, even when it doesn't make sense. See, we live in a culture that worships now. We want everything instantly, but God is the God of later. He is not moved by impatience. He is moved by purpose. When He says wait, it's not punishment, it's protection. When He says not yet, it's not denial, it's development. Sometimes we look at other people's lives and wonder, why not me? Why not now? But God's timeline for you is tailor-made. What He's preparing for you has your name on it, and it won't fit anyone else. The reason it's taking longer is because it's being built stronger. He's not just setting up an answer, He's setting up endurance. Because when the blessing comes, you won't just need faith to receive it. You'll need maturity to sustain it. God is not in the business of giving us promises we're not ready to carry. So while you're frustrated that it hasn't happened yet, God is fortifying your character for what's coming next. It's easy to trust God when things move fast, but real faith is proven in the slow seasons. When the doors don't open, when the prayers seem unanswered, when the silence stretches longer than you ever expected, that's where divine timing is doing its deepest work, because faith isn't just believing God can do it. It's trusting that He knows when to do it. He's not late. He's layering details you can't yet see. There are conversations being held in rooms you haven't entered. There are hearts being prepared that you don't even know about. There are circumstances aligning with precision you couldn't orchestrate, even if you tried. God is not stalling. He's staging, and when the right time comes, it won't be forced. It will flow. You won't have to chase what God has chosen for you. It will come together with confirmation and peace. Because divine timing carries evidence. It carries ease. It carries clarity. You'll realize that every delay was really God's way of directing you. Every no was making room for the right yes. Every disappointment was developing discernment. The very things you thought were setbacks were actually setups. Think about Joseph. It looked like his dreams were delayed when he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and forgotten in prison. But what looked like delay was divine preparation. God was positioning him in places that didn't make sense at the moment, but made purpose in the end. The delay wasn't denial. It was destiny unfolding in disguise. And it's the same with you. That waiting season is not wasted. It's where faith becomes focus. It's where you learn to worship without proof, to trust without explanation, and to move forward without full understanding. Because divine timing doesn't always announce itself with clarity. It unfolds in mystery. Sometimes God's divine timing feels uncomfortable because it challenges our control. We want to plan, predict, and prepare, but God often says, let me lead. Divine timing teaches surrender. It teaches us that peace is not found in getting what we want, but in trusting who God is. When you surrender to His timing, you stop striving to make things happen and start resting in His promise that they will happen. You stop comparing your timeline to others and start understanding that your story is sacred. You stop fearing that time is running out because you realize time is never wasted in the hands of the one who created it. If God promised it, He's preparing it. If He spoke it, He's scheduling it, but He won't release it until the right moment. When your heart, your mindset, and your surroundings are ready to hold it, divine timing isn't just about what God gives. But when he gives it, because when the timing is divine, what used to feel like waiting starts to feel like worship. You begin to thank God for every door that didn't open, every person who walked away, every plan that fell apart. You begin to realize that his delay wasn't him holding out on you. It was him holding something better for you. So if it feels like nothing is happening, don't mistake stillness for absence. God is working in ways you cannot see. He's arranging every detail, aligning every connection, and orchestrating every step for your good. His timing is not delayed. It's divine. And when it unfolds, you'll look back and realize that every tear, every prayer, every moment of waiting was worth it because it led you to exactly where he intended you to be. And you'll see that what once felt like a delay was actually the divine hand of God setting the stage for something greater than you could ever imagine. And you'll understand that what you called late was actually right on time, because divine timing doesn't miss, it doesn't forget, it doesn't fail. It just unfolds exactly when heaven decides it's time to move. There is a sacred truth many people miss in prayer. God doesn't just answer desire, he answers alignment, because desire alone can be emotional, temporary, or self-centered, but alignment is eternal. Alignment means your heart, your will, and your purpose are synchronized with God's plan. It's when what you want starts to match what he wants. It's when your prayer stops being, God, give me what I want, and starts being, God, shape me for what you want. That's where divine answers flow, not from the intensity of our wanting, but from the integrity of our alignment. You can want something with all your heart and still not be ready to receive it, because God doesn't just respond to how deeply you desire something. He responds to how deeply you're aligned with his design. Desire might get his attention, but alignment keeps his favor. It's like tuning an instrument. You can play the right notes, but if the strings aren't aligned, the sound won't be right. In the same way, God wants your heart tuned to his frequency, your motives purified, your vision clarified, your intentions sanctified. When that alignment happens, blessings don't just visit, they remain. Alignment means saying, God, if this is not for me, I don't want it. It's surrendering your will without resentment, because sometimes what we call delay is really God waiting for alignment. He's not ignoring your prayer. He's inviting you into partnership. He's asking, will you trust me enough to let me lead? When your spirit says yes to that, heaven starts to shift. Doors open differently. Opportunities unfold without striving. Peace replaces pressure. You begin to see that alignment attracts what striving cannot produce. Think about it. How many times have we wanted something so badly only to realize later that it would have hurt us if we had received it too soon? God, in his mercy, doesn't always give us what we want. He gives us what will sustain us. He knows the full picture, the hidden costs, the unseen consequences. That's why alignment matters. Because when your will aligns with his will, what once felt like loss becomes protection, and what once looked like rejection becomes redirection. Alignment allows you to see that his no is not cruelty, it's care. There's power in alignment because it positions you under divine flow. When your heart beats with heaven's rhythm, you don't have to force outcomes. They begin to find you. Alignment turns prayer into partnership. It's no longer you begging for blessings. It's you building with God. You start praying differently. Not just, Lord, send me a husband, but Lord, make me the kind of woman who can build with the man you're sending. Not just, God, open a door, but God, prepare me to walk through the door when it opens. Because alignment isn't about getting what you want faster. It's about becoming who you need to be when you're aligned with God. Your prayers mature. You stop asking from a place of insecurity and start asking from a place of identity. You stop chasing what others have and start cherishing what God is shaping in you. You realize that the answer you're praying for might not come to you until something changes in you. And the beautiful thing about alignment is that it's not achieved through perfection. It's achieved through surrender. Every time you lay down control, you step closer to divine flow. Every time you say, God, your will be done, heaven hears, she's ready. Alignment brings discernment. When your heart is right, you stop confusing chemistry for covenant, attraction for assignment, and preference for purpose. You begin to see with spiritual eyes. You recognize what's divine and what's distraction. God answers prayers of alignment because he can trust that when he gives it, you won't idolize it. You won't let the blessing replace the blesser. You won't let the promise silence your praise. Alignment means you can hold the answer and still keep your eyes on the answer. This is why alignment is the posture of answered prayer. Because when you're aligned, your waiting turns into worship, your confusion turns into confidence, and your fear turns into faith. You begin to understand that your role is not to manipulate outcomes, but to maintain obedience. That's when doors open without effort, relationships flow without forcing, and opportunities arise without anxiety, because God's answers don't come through desperation. They come through direction, and direction is born in alignment. When your life is aligned with the Word of God, you start to attract what agrees with heaven. Peace settles where there used to be panic. Clarity replaces chaos. You no longer chase signs. Signs begin to follow you. And you understand that God's blessings flow in order. They have timing, sequence, and structure. When your spirit aligns with that divine rhythm, everything around you starts to respond. The right people come, the wrong people leave, the path clears, the noise quiets. Because alignment creates atmosphere. So if you've been praying and wondering why the answer hasn't come, maybe God is saying, I'm not withholding, it's just not aligned yet. Maybe He's adjusting your heart, your motives, your priorities. Maybe He's preparing the blessing and the blessed one at the same time, because God doesn't want to just give you what you desire. He wants to give you what matches His divine design for your destiny. And when that alignment happens, you won't have to chase the answer. It will find you, fit you, fulfill you, and confirm to you that God was never ignoring you. He was just aligning you. And when the alignment is right, the answer will flow effortlessly like heaven breathing on your life, reminding you that God's answers are not built on the strength of your wanting, but on the beauty of your becoming. And when alignment meets divine timing, what you once prayed for will meet you in peace, not pressure, because alignment is where heaven and earth agree. There is something sacred, something deeply transforming about the waiting season. Waiting has a way of exposing what you believe and revealing who you really are. It strips away every illusion, every false definition, every shallow sense of worth, until all that remains is the core of your identity. The part of you that knows, even without proof, that God is still good, because the waiting season isn't punishment. It's revelation. It's where you stop defining yourself by what you're waiting for and start discovering who you already are in God. When life slows down and prayers seem unanswered, the waiting season becomes a mirror. It shows you what you depend on for value. Do you find your worth in being chosen or in being called? Do you measure yourself by timing or by truth? When God makes you wait, He's not trying to break you. He's trying to build you. He's pulling your identity out of the opinions of others and rooting it in His Word. Because until your worth is secure in Him, no blessing, no relationship, no opportunity will ever feel enough. The waiting season is not about withholding something from you. That's about anchoring something in you in the waiting. God redefines you. He takes off the labels you've worn. Not enough, too late, forgotten, unseen, and replaces them with His truth. Chosen, beloved, equipped, destined. You begin to realize that being single doesn't mean being stuck, and being hidden doesn't mean being unworthy. God hides you to heal you. He withholds visibility to strengthen your vision. He lets you sit in stillness so that when movement comes, you'll know who you are apart from motion. Because if you don't know your identity in the waiting, you'll lose it in the receiving. Waiting teaches you how to stand without support, how to worship without reward, how to believe without evidence. It's in the waiting that your roots grow deep. On the surface, nothing seems to be happening, but underground, God is cultivating stability. He's building the kind of strength that can't be shaken by disappointment or delay. When you learn to trust Him in the silence, you start to hear His voice in the smallest whispers. When you stop rushing the process, you start recognizing His presence in the process. The waiting season is where God develops the woman before He delivers the answer. Because before God gives you what you've been praying for, He'll make sure you know who you are without it. He doesn't want you to find your identity in a title, a person, or a position. He wants you to find it in Him. If you need a husband to feel whole, then marriage becomes an idol. But when you know you're whole already, marriage becomes ministry. The waiting season transforms longing into learning, desire into development, and expectation into endurance. There's a beauty in waiting that rushing will never reveal. When you wait with faith, you begin to see that the waiting season is God's classroom. Every disappointment becomes a lesson. Every delay becomes direction. Every unanswered prayer becomes a training ground for maturity. You learn patience not by preaching it, but by living it. You learn surrender not by reading about it, but by walking through it. You learn that identity isn't built on what happens to you. It's built on what's happening in you. And here's the truth. God isn't just preparing the blessing for you. He's preparing you for the blessing. The version of you that entered the waiting season is not the same version that will walk out. Waiting refines your vision, renews your faith, restores your confidence, and reveals your purpose. It shows you that you are not defined by your relationship status, your success, or your timeline. You are defined by the one who called you before time began. When that truth becomes real in you, you no longer wait with worry, you wait with worship. You no longer fear the silence, you find peace in it. Sometimes God delays what you desire because He's protecting who you're becoming. If He gave you what you prayed for too soon, it might distract you from the identity He's forming in you. Waiting forces you to confront your motives, your insecurities, your fears. It exposes what needs healing so that when the answer comes, you can handle it with wholeness. The waiting season doesn't just prepare your hands to receive, it prepares your heart to remain. So if you're in that season right now, between the promise and the fulfillment, between the prayer and the breakthrough, don't despise it. The waiting season is where God is writing your identity in ink, not pencil. It's where He whispers, you are mine, you are loved, you are enough. It's where you stop chasing affirmation from others and start hearing affirmation from heaven. Waiting is not wasted time. It's sacred time. It's the time when heaven works silently, shaping the kind of strength that storms can't shake and seasons can't steal. And when the waiting finally gives way to the promise, you'll realize that you didn't just receive an answer. You discovered yourself. You'll look back and thank God for every silent night, every delayed door, every prayer that didn't happen when you thought it should, because it was in the waiting that you found your voice, your purpose, your worth. It was in the waiting that your faith became real, your heart became steady, and your soul became rooted in truth. It was in the waiting that you discovered the version of you that God always saw and the world has yet to meet. And when that revelation fully unfolds, you'll understand that the waiting wasn't just about what you were asking God to do. It was about who He was shaping you to become. When God answers, He doesn't send confusion wrapped in beauty. He sends clarity wrapped in peace. Because the mark of a divine answer is not how impressive it looks, but how peaceful it feels. Peace is heaven's signature. When something comes from God, it doesn't pull you apart. It pulls you closer to Him. It doesn't leave you anxious, guessing, or second guessing. It brings a calm assurance that settles your soul. That's why when the answer truly comes, it doesn't carry pressure, it carries peace. Pressure comes from striving, but peace flows from surrender. Pressure makes you perform, but peace allows you to rest. Pressure forces you to prove something, but peace reminds you that it's already finished. When you live in alignment with God, you start to recognize that His blessings don't come with tension. They come with confirmation. You don't have to chase, compete, or beg for them. You don't have to force doors open or manipulate outcomes. The peace of God becomes the evidence that it's from Him. Because when it's divine, it flows, it fits, it frees. Many people confuse answers with opportunities. Not every open door is a divine one. Sometimes the enemy opens doors too, but they come with pressure, anxiety, and chaos. God's answers are different. They come with order, rhythm, and rest. Even when they challenge you, they don't crush you. Even when they stretch you, they don't stress you. God's answers carry peace because they come from the Prince of Peace. You can test any answer by asking yourself this: does it bring me closer to peace or deeper into panic? Because anything that robs you of peace cannot be from the God of peace when the answer comes from God. You'll notice It doesn't demand your identity. It confirms it. It doesn't drain your strength. It deepens your spirit. If it's a relationship, it won't make you lose yourself trying to keep it. It will help you become more of who God made you to be. If it's an opportunity, it won't make you compromise your integrity to hold it. It will elevate your character through it. When God sends the answer, it comes to add peace, not replace it. It aligns with your purpose, not your pressure points. Think about how Jesus operated. He was never rushed, never pressured, never anxious. Even in chaos, when storms surrounded him, he slept. When crowds demanded him, he withdrew. When people tried to push him into action, he moved only when the Father said, go. That's divine rhythm. When you walk in that same rhythm, your answers carry that same peace. The world may not understand it, but heaven recognizes it. Peace becomes the proof that you're walking in divine timing. Sometimes we think God's answer will come with fireworks, but often it comes with stillness. It doesn't shout. It settles. It's not loud. It's lasting. When God answers, you'll sense it more in your spirit than in your emotions. There's no rush to act, no fear of missing out, no anxiety about losing it. You'll simply know that knowing is peace, the peace that passes all understanding, the peace that guards your heart and mind, the peace that whispers, this is what I prepared you for. When God answers, He doesn't bring pressure that pushes you out of His presence. He brings peace that pulls you deeper into it. You'll find yourself praying with gratitude, not with anxiety. You'll find yourself walking with confidence, not with confusion. Peace becomes the atmosphere around your obedience. It becomes the confirmation that you don't have to control the outcome because God already has. You stop striving and start trusting. You stop performing and start resting. That's how you know the answer has arrived. It carries the fragrance of peace, not the weight of pressure. Peace doesn't mean the absence of challenges. It means the presence of God in the middle of them. When the answer comes, it won't eliminate every storm, but it will equip you to walk through them with assurance. Peace becomes your posture, not your prize. You'll realize that what you once begged for now fits so naturally that you don't have to fight to keep it, because what's from God doesn't drain you. It develops you. It doesn't confuse you. It clarifies you. It doesn't push you into panic. It pulls you into purpose. And here's the truth. Pressure often imitates peace. It shows up looking right, sounding right, feeling urgent, but urgency is not always God. God doesn't rush His people. He prepares them. Pressure says, you have to make it happen. Peace says, God's already making it happen. Pressure says, if you don't act now, you'll lose it. Peace says, if it's from God, it can't be lost. When you live from that truth, you stop letting pressure dictate your decisions and start letting peace direct your path. So when the answer finally arrives, whether it's a relationship, a calling, a breakthrough, you'll know it's divine, not because it looks perfect, but because it feels peaceful. You won't have to force it to fit. You won't have to sacrifice your peace to keep it. You'll rest in it, breathe in it, grow in it. You'll realize that peace is not the reward after the answer. It is the answer, because the greatest evidence that something is from God is not how fast it comes, how grand it seems, or how many people approve of it, but how deeply peace settles in your soul when it does come. And when that peace fills your heart, you'll understand that what God gives never comes with pressure, because His blessings don't burden. They balance, they steady, they soothe, and they remind you that what flows from heaven will never make you frantic. It will make you free. When God moves, He moves with peace, not pressure. His answers never demand that you strive. They invite you to rest. What comes from Him won't confuse your spirit. It will confirm your purpose. Peace is heaven's way of saying, this is me. So when your answer arrives clothed in calm assurance, trust it, because what God gives will never drain you. It will develop you, deepen you, and draw you closer to His presence and perfect plan.